Hi, I'm Lynn from Century 21 Adams, and I'm the sponsor of a local website called Parkbench featuring Babylon Village. And today, I'm going to speak with Steve Bellafiore, a local mortgage banker, about his business. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Lynn. It is absolutely awesome to be here. I am not one that is on video very much, so I'm jumping out of my comfort zone, and I'm excited to be here. You are, as you know, one of my favorites, so I'm excited to participate and answer all of your questions.
Okay, we just have a few questions. Why did you become a mortgage lender?
I became a mortgage lender, I guess how a lot of things happen for people, it just kind of happens, right? I was a floor trader on the American Stock Exchange, late 90s. And when you're sitting in the pit, you talk and get into lots of things. And one of them for me was mortgage banking. And my best clerk, and a clerk is very, very important because they bring you lunches and batteries and milkshakes, left to go become a mortgage banker and became very, very successful. And so long story short, 5 years later when the stock exchange floor was kind of shrinking, I went into it full time and never really looked back.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know that about you. So what's your most memorable experience over the course of how many years now?
I mean, if you count when I first really started on the stock exchange, it's 20 plus. So it's been a long time, and I could probably suck up all the battery life that you have with all the experiences, but I'll keep it to one. And I guess it's tied to my dad. One of the first clients I ever got had the same first name. I won't say his last name here on video, but it was Vincent, and Vincent from Knickerbocker Avenue in Bushwick, Brooklyn, where my father grew up, was trying to buy a house, and he was a veteran of the armed forces, so always very proud to work with a veteran, and he was trying to do something for his daughter. He was trying to buy his daughter a house, and the biggest thing he had was that VA eligibility certificate.
Okay. Yes.
And I think when people have tough times, dealing with whether it's mortgage or real estate or both, it's not always because the person they're working with is trying to hurt them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a lack of inexperience. And I think that's what happened where I met this man, and he had dealt with a lot of people who were inexperienced, and he was a tough deal. It was a tough transaction. So you really, one. Yeah, so it was a learning experience, but I think just because the tie-in with the old neighborhood of my father and everything else, it was like one I'll never forget, and probably one of my most satisfying closings, just to get that man to the finish line and let him get that house for his daughter.
That's fantastic. Requests from clients. Any memorable requests?
Yes, Steve, I've been in contract for 6 weeks and my mortgage person hasn't called me back in 5 weeks. Is that a problem? Yes, that's a huge problem. It says that I forfeit my deposit in 2+ weeks if I can't close. What do? You need to choose someone fast, and we need to move very, very quickly. We get those time and time again. But there's certainly ones that stick out. $20,000 sticks out to me, where we had to get this person closed inside of 2 weeks, or they risked forfeiting that money. So
their hard-earned money, probably,
Yeah, and
been saving for a long time.
This is the most stressful. One of the most stressful things I think a person can do is buy a house, and when they've got money sitting out there, and they're depending on so many parts of a team to work for them.
Yes.
And as we've learned with just not, anything, sports, business, if one person on the team falls and doesn't do their job, sometimes everybody else falls apart. So I think that's probably the most odd request. Not that it's odd, it actually happens quite often. But maybe pressure, the most pressurized request.
Yeah, and the communication is so important. So let me ask you a little bit about Babylon Village. What is your favorite place to visit, perhaps?
I, as you personally know, I love to bike ride across the island.
Yes.
And I love history. So Babylon is right up there on the island in terms of, just beautiful villages and long time history. And of course, you've got the Conklin House, which is right over here. Certainly one of my favorite places to go. You've got the Historical Society over here on Main Street. I've taken my sons there a bunch of times and really bring people, especially my kids, back to when, this area was so big into, using the South Bay and clamming and fishing. And then if I have to go somewhere for, a lunch, certainly the Carriage House is right up there. There's so many wonderful places about Babylon Village. I think my most favorite thing to do, though, is to ride the bike and just get lost and see the old houses and the old neighborhoods.
And I've seen some of the photos that you've put on Facebook when you are out there biking and actually, on foot, basically, stopping to smell the roses along the way and enjoying the village for what it is. And I thank you for this time. And if anyone would like to speak to Steve, please find his information below. We've got his links, we've got his website, so please feel free to reach out to him. And if anyone would like to be interviewed who services the Babylon Village area, please give me a call. Steve, I thank you very much.
I thank you, and thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.